everyone, it's Sue Ralph here with Birdcage Craft Studio, and I'm going to be bringing you the crafting tip 23 from me to you. So today I thought we'd go on and talk about sort of embellishments again. Yesterday we did the pearls, so today we're going to be doing buttons and brads. Now, I don't know if you're like me and you have quite a stash of them, but I've got lots of different buttons and brads that I sort of don't use for one reason or another. So I thought, okay, let's change them about a bit, and this is what I've come up with. So the top row, these are all brads. And what I've actually done is I've covered them with embossing powder and then I've stamped on them, and then these are all buttons. These are all different types of buttons that I've just changed around. So I've just used stamps and then I've used colours. So you need stays on colours, or you need your blendability pens, or anything with an alcohol marker would work. So this is what I did. So I'm going to start off. I've got a brad here that I don't really like the colour of very much. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to change it. So I'm just going to take these out of the pad because I can use this. So what you need to do is you need to get yourself a Versamark, okay, and then really squish your brad into the embossing, well, the Versamark, and then what you're going to do then is pop it into some white embossing powder. So I'm just going to use my tweezers just to hold it. And then I've got white embossing powder, and then I'm literally just going to dip it, and because you've used the Versamark ink, that's going to actually catch it. Now, depending on the colour of the brad underneath, you may need to sort of do this stage a couple of times. So I've got all the powder on. I'm going to bring in the gun now, and just a warning, because this is metal, after you've finished, when the embossing powder has melted, don't touch it because it's going to be very hot. So let's just get and emboss this. One of the things that you can do whilst you're heat embossing, if you don't think it's covered it very well, whilst the embossing powder is still hot, just dip it straight away again into your embossing powder, knock off the excess, and then just bring your heat gun back in again and just carry on melting it. And then once it's all glossy, you know it's melted, and hopefully, yep, 2 lots of embossing powder has covered it. So what you need to do now is you just need to let that cool off. So I'm just going to leave it just on here for a moment, like so. And again, you can do it for buttons, and it's really quite easy. So again, you just push the button into your Versapad like this, your Versamark pad, and I'm going to use my tweezers to pick it up, and then I'm going to dip it again into my white embossing powder, and then just heat set it. It's very quick. I don't know if you'll be able to see this on camera. There we go. That's melted it. There we go. And again, you just leave that to cool off. I'm going to pop that there for a minute. And then just try your brad. Yeah, and that's now nice and cool. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring a piece of paper in, because it just stops my pad getting too dirty when I'm stamping. And this is just an old brad pad, you know, that I bought brads on before. So I can just pop a hole through like that, and then just get your black stays on ink, and I've just got a little stamp here that I'm going to use, a little teddy bear, and then just stamp on top. And when you're stamping, just be careful, because you're stamping on top of a fairly slick surface, because it's like enamel and you could slip off. Okay, just pop your finger on the button or brad to hold, and then lift up, and then you should get the impression. It's not come out brilliantly, but it will do, because I'm just going to colour this in. Now, I'd leave that just to set a little bit. If you haven't got the patience to wait, you can bring in your gun again and just give it a quick blast just to dry that stays on. Okay, and then just leave it to cool for a minute, and then you can bring in either you know, your blendabilities or pro markers, whichever you've got alcohol marker and colour in. I don't recommend you use the normal markers because it will come straight off. So you just decide which side of the pen you're going to use. I'm going to use the smaller nib and just colour in. Okay, and the Stays On ink hasn't quite dried, so it needed a little bit longer, but obviously when you're doing this you'll be able to wait and then just go in with your colour. So I'm just very quickly just going to add a little bit of colour just to show you. And do the legs. And he's got a little bib on. Okay, so I'll just bring in some blue for the bib. And then what you've done, once you've coloured all of this in, you have then got yourself a bespoke brad owl button to use on whichever project you would like. Okay, so that's my tip for today, and I will be back with another one tomorrow. Bye then.